What are the things that you're finding that you have clients that hire you? So, everyone's probably in a rush. I mean, you must take, do you have to lay this out at the beginning of a client meeting where you're like, guys, what are you looking for? Because I can't get you 50,000 subscribers by Wednesday. I can get you 50,000 subscribers in a year, or
Yeah.
maybe they got a specialty product. Sometimes it's lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes
100%.
it hits and it's like, that's it. You've got this. So that must drive you a little crazy. What's your sort of like
Dealing with that.
realistic approach to it?
Yeah, so there are obviously the one-off exceptions where they will just strike and they'll blow up very quickly. There's usually a lot of backstory that went into that, and typically the overnight success was actually like a multi-year or a 10-year overnight success, and then they finally became that, and it seemingly looks like that. So dealing with client expectations in terms of growth on social is something that I run into on a daily basis speaking with potential clients, because everybody wants those vanity metrics, and they don't understand that this is a cumulative process where you're constantly adding to your catalog of videos, adding to your content, and slowly the trickle down effect happens. And word of mouth advertising, it'll be here until the world goes away, because people love to talk about solid experiences. So if you can provide those, even if it's to a small group, it eventually grows over time. So in my business, luckily, there's two ways that you can handle it. So the paid side is instant. So you can see it directly to like performance metrics, because you're paying for that to happen in real time. So for
You're
people
paying YouTube to market you,
so
or paying Facebook or Instagram.
Exactly. So I have done none of paid stuff on any of my channels. All of that's been organic. But see, if a client comes to me and they do have like this intense desire to grow very quickly, there are tons of paid options. So the biggest ones that we'll focus on is Facebook advertising to drive customers. And then if you're looking to build an audience, it would be more Instagram and YouTube ads. So if they're really keen to and they need those numbers, then that's typically the route you're going to start with if they have the budget. And then the organic side, I really try to stress the aspect of brand building. The most popular brands that we know in this world, they took years to build. So understanding that, and it really comes down to working with the right people. Very often I'll have calls that are discovery calls that don't go anywhere because they're not able to grasp that long-term vision.
Well, it's funny because when I called you initially, and when I was going to a baseball game in St. Louis,
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was chilling, and I remember I was like, okay, I don't want to bug you because I know you're busy, but I want to get sort of some info because it was kind of running a bit hot for me. I was coming out of this coffee podcast.
Yeah,
that was actually like I was having a hard time, not saying keeping up to it, but it was like, wow, people are like hammering me, and I'm like, I gotta ask somebody where I'm going with it, and you laid it out. And I think it was really interesting to me because it's sort of like, well, I'll tell you the straight goods, and either you're going to leave me the hell alone or you're going to keep going. And I wonder how people are going to maneuver through that, because right now Amazon's run out of podcast mics.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
Everyone's got one. I was lucky enough. I'm, 35 weeks in or something like that to mine. So I'm having some fun. There are billions. I don't know what you would know the metrics on how many are probably out there in the world, but so many people are going to put out 10 episodes and out. So many people, they're going to put out 3 and go, I have 9 listeners.
Yeah.
Like that's, what do you say to somebody that's like trying to launch this thing? And this is what I wanted to kind of touch on over the next couple of episodes, is like, now's the perfect time to launch something. But what's Ben say about it?
Yeah.
What's
Certainly.
Ben say about it?
As technology progresses, the barriers to entry become substantially less. And now we've gotten to the point where you can get a solid microphone and everything you need to get started for like under $100. So basically anybody can start a show. And with that, tons of people are, but like you said, very, very few are going to stick with it. So when it comes to starting anything on the internet, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, or a podcast, if you're not going to give it a year of consistency, I would say don't even start. And I know that sounds pretty blunt, but it's the truth. So the majority of the questions that I field from like emails and Instagram DMs with just general questions, the answer to almost all of them is you're impatient. Like they're like, well, why isn't this working? And I'll go look at their page and they posted 5 posts, or they've posted 3 podcast episodes. Unless you're Britney Spears, how do you expect your podcast to just blow up tomorrow? Like you don't have that foundation for that audience. So I think the best place to start is figuring out, why does your show need to exist? Who are you serving? And why are you the person to serve that? Like, why are you the person to either tell that story, provide that advice, provide that education, figure out what that is, and that will allow you to gain perspective. And ideally, your show or your page or your channel will be strictly about content that you're very passionate about. And those are the people that are going to find success, because when it doesn't feel like work, you won't get nearly as discouraged. Because when I started making videos, I love the process. I love the whole aspect of the social media platforms. So when like 10 people watched my videos, I would still get extremely fired up, because I was like,
Right.
it's all perspective, right? That's still 10 random people that clicked on my video and they just listened to me, Joe Blow, talk for 10 minutes straight. Like that, I think perspective is very important. And then having it geared towards your passion so that it doesn't feel like work is important, because this stuff takes time. Because like you said, we're competing against millions of other people out there. So it's those that stay that win.